Hey everybody, it's me, Geoff Maxfield, and I am wanting to kind of start logging the progress of the project of King Liger. So this is the kind of first of many that we're going to be doing. So, uh, you know, one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about is that one of the is that like there's so many steps into making the tooling for this toy, along with making any soft vinyl toy. And I know that there isn't a lot of information out there about how to make it exactly. You kind of had to. I kind of had to end up piecing it together myself from different avenues, such as jewelry making and other things of that nature. And so I kind of wanted to start compiling steps of what I have done to try and help future people in how to do this. So it's going to be a little rough and tumble, but I wanted to at least get things going. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, Geoff, there is some showing of you making that you've made some of the tooling already. Well, yes, I have but I want to actually make some more cavities for the mold, just to kind of help offset in the production of the toy King Liger. So this is kind of some just some documentation of how this all works out. So right now, the first step is getting wax dummies made of your figure. And now wax dummies are just obviously what they say they are. They are going to be the copies of your master that you're going to end up putting in the copper sulfate solution bath to start electroplating and making that copper mold cavity. So this is the first. These are kind of the steps of how to do it. So first of all, I do have a double boiler going on right now of the paraffin wax and jeweler's wax that's mixed together right now. Now it's ready to go, and this is hot. But I have already also put the oven on a very low temperature. Not even, see, it's not even on 200 degrees right now. So what we have in here are the mold cavities. And I'll turn on the light and you'll see it right there. There is the second half of the King Liger mold, King Liger piece rather, to make the legs. So I'm going to show you kind of what I end up doing to kind of start making the wax dummies as our first step here. So here we go. So what I'm going to do, now this isn't going to be too hot right now, so luckily I can just take that out with my hand, and that's absolutely fine. You know, of course, obviously you want to always be careful when it comes to doing that stuff, but don't worry, it's lower than 200 degrees and doesn't really feel that hot in my hands right now. It's kind of a warm day. So what's going to happen here is that I have now taken out the rubber molds right here, and I'm going to apply some Kryolan silicone spray. Now, why am I adding that? You ask. Well, the reason why, and this is something you can actually use when you're doing resin pieces too. The silicone spray actually lowers the surface tension on your mold. So you're going to end up getting less bubbles, and you're just going to have a better piece altogether when doing that. So I'm just going to set this down here just for a second, and you're going to be able, and we'll probably end up being right back here, and we'll just do a quick spray here of the mold. Make sure that we're on the level right here. There we go. So we're going to end up trying to add an even coat of this as best we can. And we're just going to go up horizontally. Make sure we get into those foothold areas, because that's always been a trouble spot for me. And there we go. Now this should be okay. Ready to go for the next step which will be actually pouring the mold. But of course, before we get that completely set up, I do want to ensure that it's not going to break loose. So we're going to use a few rubber bands to seal this, and it's not going to take, if you put your mold together properly and you have your key spots and everything, you're not going to need a lot of rubber bands. I usually use about 3 or 4. Yeah, that sounds really funny. Oh, I don't use a lot, but you know what? I usually use 3 or 4. It's like 20 when you think about it. Not really. No, it's just 3 or 4. So we're just gonna get this together like so. And like I said, this is gonna be kind of a hack job of showing steps, but you know what? Somebody had to do it. I've gotten so tired of there not being information out there, and I think it's about time. Someone did it. And here we go. We're gonna put one more rubber band on here. Just a second. And that ought to do it. So, as you can see, we're locked and loaded, ready to go. And I like to also make sure that none of the rubber bands are folded over or anything or twisted, just to kind of make sure everything is just tightly bound and secured. Nothing to really get you into any situations where you're dealing with any leaks or anything. Now, the mold was pretty warm, right? Well, that was pretty warm, but I will level it with you. A double boiler is hot. So, this, I am going to be using some oven mitts, and we are going to pour. And let's get a viewing of this. Here we go. And away we go. And if you can, try and angle your pour, holding the mold at an angle or doing an offset pour, just to kind of help get into any trouble spots you have. Now, I have made the cavity more than an inch and a half deep for the pour spout, and there is a reason for that. The idea is that you don't want to have you want to have enough room for the person to pull the actual piece out when it becomes soft vinyl. So I have right here our liquid wax, and this is my vacuum chamber, and this is what we will be using to pull out any excess bubbles that could be in that wax. Now hopefully it won't be too bad. Now this has been a big trial and error situation for many months, but I think I finally figured out what I need to do to kind of make it be, golden. So we're going to tighten this up. We're going to turn it on here, harden the noise, and here we go. I'm going to actually put this down for a quick second, and I'm going to tighten this up. Okay, so you gotta hold down the vacuum, hold down the bell jar to kind of pull the vacuum. So it's gonna be getting up into the 25 PSI spot, and you're already starting to see bubbles pull out. And it's starting to get really excited in there. And there have been some times where things gotten really crazy. Now, you don't want to have it go on for too long, because, and you don't want to release and set it up again, because You don't want to risk anything like getting malformed off on that out on that outer edge, because trust me, that has happened where you get a situation where you kind of put on that first little layer of wax. It gets it all, solidified, but then you apply more pressure to it. It will actually pull that little thin layer of wax off and start creating malformed spots and more bubbles, and you just don't want that. So what we have here is the liquid wax. Now it's going to be cooling off inside of that rubber mold. And I actually already did this to the top part too. And here is what you get in the end if done properly. This is a wax dummy that I have already trimmed off and cleaned up of the torso part for King Liger. I do have another one elsewhere at the location where I'm doing the electroplating, aka my parents' basement. Ta ha ha ha. But yes, there it all is, and I thought this would be a really nice video to kind of have people enjoy and kind of learn from. Hopefully you've picked up something from all of this. Until next time, I do plan on showing you some more steps of this very interesting process. We'll talk to you later. Bye.